So you're at a party or a networking event and you start talking to someone new. So you ask what they do and they say they're a developer, and you talk about coding for a bit and then share what you do. And then the conversation starts feeling forced, like both of you want to end it, but you're stuck there not knowing how to escape. Does this sound familiar? This happens because most conversations get stuck on the surface level. They're all about the what and never about the why. Now, contrary to what some people say, there's nothing wrong with asking what you do. It's actually a great way to get a basic understanding of someone. The problem is when we get trapped in what conversations. Here's what I mean. What conversations are about facts. What's your job? What neighborhood do you live in? What did you study? These questions light up the logical part of our brain. They're safe, but they get boring fast. Why conversations are different. They're about motivations, feelings, personal experiences. They light up the parts of your brain associated with passion and imagination and meaning. And that's where real connection happens. So how do you shift from what to why? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Instead of asking more what questions, you start asking how come? Let's say someone tells you they're a developer. Instead of asking what programming language they use, you ask, how come you decided to become a developer? They might give you something surface level at first. I always like computers, but you go deeper. Do you think you're mainly a computer person or mainly a people person? Now they're thinking about their identity, not just their job description. That's way more interesting to talk about, but here's the key. You don't want to interrogate people. Here at Social Self, we call this technique dribble and pass. You share a little bit about yourself, that's the dribble, and then pass the conversation back to them. So after they answer, you might say, yeah, I get that. I went into architecture because I like design, but over the years, I've realized that what I really love about it is that I don't have to talk to people all the time, like when I worked in retail. But you mentioned that you're going into game design. How come? See what happened there? You shared your own why, which makes the conversation feel balanced and natural. Another way to think about this is asking about someone's emotional relationship to the topic. If you're talking about the weather being bad, instead of complaining more about rain, you could ask, where would you live if you could pick anywhere in the world? And when they answer, you follow up with, how come? And suddenly you're learning about their dreams and values, not just discussing precipitation patterns. Or if you're talking about how expensive everything's getting, instead of listing more expensive things, ask, what would you do if money wasn't an issue? And when they say they buy a yacht and travel the world, you ask, how come? Now you're discovering what really matters to them. And the beautiful thing about this approach is that it works with any topic. Now you can transform the most boring small talk into an engaging conversation just by shifting from what to why. And if you feel like you're getting too intense with all the personal questions, just remember to dribble and pass. Share your own experiences and motivations. Make it a two-way street. And this is how you turn those forced, awkward conversations into ones that flow naturally, because when people talk about their whys, their motivations, their dreams, their values, they light up, they get engaged, and suddenly neither of you wants the conversation to end. And if you're serious about improving your people skills and are tired of generic advice like just be yourself, that sounds good but make things more confusing, join our training on the link below where I go much deeper into what I talked about here.